Time to talk some money. And crypto.
Is this a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
What is a crypto? We have here, for those of you watching, a portrait of Sam Bankman-Fried by Dame Allie from a few months ago. And yes, we've been keeping an eye on Sam Bankman-Fried. He's been very active in the world of crypto and finance and all that kind of stuff. And so he's been making headlines recently in the crypto world, and it's gotten pretty interesting. Decrypt.co headline here. Sam Bankman-Fried pitches sanctions. Oh, do I have my sanctions thing? Sanctions! Allow lists and blacklists in crypto. Yikers. Here's what it says. FTX boss Sam Bankman-Fried thoroughly broke down his ideal regulatory framework for the crypto industry on Wednesday. The billionaire said he is a proponent of regulation using blacklists or block lists, a model where individuals may freely trade unless explicitly sanctioned. This is in contrast with whitelists or allow lists, where individuals are banned from trade by default unless explicitly granted permission. And already, okay, if you know anything about the crypto world, part of it, there's a very libertarian mood to a lot of crypto. It was really popular with anarchists at first because it was a real, true sort of anti-government, anti-establishment thing, with Bitcoin anyway. And over time, it kind of got more adopted into the mainstream. And, these bigger bankers are coming in and they start to change things. They start to try to control it. And they realize that they can't really control it per se. They can create their own companies, or through VCs, they can, develop different or their own blockchains and all that kind of stuff. But part of the mechanisms is that there are no rules right now. For example, if you wanted to open a Bitcoin wallet, you can. And you can open 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 100. You can open as many wallets as you'd want. And there's no limit. There's no laws like you can only have whatever. And so for Sam Bankman-Fried to come in and say only, and this is not Bitcoin, I think this is like Ethereum or other. The idea here is that when you present a wallet to any exchange or institution or whatever, they have to know who you are. That's the big point. And by creating sanctions and block lists and allow lists, it really is just identifying you. Which, again, there's like a part that's, okay, we understand we don't want corruption. We've got to keep it clean. Got to keep everything official and all that kind of stuff. I understand that. But there's also the other side of, okay, well, the people that do the regulation have way too much power, way too much influence. So it's an interesting time to be in. And it continues here. Quote, "We need fast, reliable lists of addresses associated with illicit finance," said the CEO. "But peer-to-peer transfers should generally be free as long as they're not going to sanctioned actors." And once again, it's tough because we're starting to get to that point where laws and stuff regulation is coming in, but the people that are going to bring down the hammer when it comes to the regulation don't exactly know the technology or how the technology works. And then you have these people that are in the industry for not too long, like Sam Bankman-Fried came in, I don't know, 5 years ago, almost 5-6 years ago, and made a killing. hit some home runs, and now he's a multi-billionaire, and all of a sudden he has all the great ideas on how to regulate the entire crypto industry. It's very bizarre. It almost seems like it's assisted by a certain group of people, not claiming to know anything, or anyone for that matter, but just a suspicion that I get. In a more detailed document on FTX's website titled Possible Digital Asset Industry Standards, the exchange, likely channeling its top executive, further argued that using allow lists would be a massive burden on innovation and commerce that, quote, freezes out the economically disadvantaged. Yeah, it would. On the other hand, the exchange noted simply allowing all transfers would open the floodgates to financial crime. Oh, yes, FTX, the bastion, the burden of being a controller of the entire crypto economic system, which they're not, but they just talk like they are, which is very strange, I would say. And just so you're aware, too, Sam Bankman-Fried, just a couple notes on Sam. Oops, what happened to my Sam Bankman-Fried portrait by Allie? It disappeared. Oh, no. Okay. Well, anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried. He does not live in the U.S. He lives, allegedly, from what I heard, he lives in the Bahamas. He's still an American citizen, I suppose. And as you know, he's been sort of playing the Bankman, the takeover, much like the oil barons of the last century. He's being groomed in that sort of model, archetype, so to speak. And he lost a bunch of money this year through Three Arrows Capital, which we've touched on before, and also a deal with Voyager, which they just bought. So yeah, everything, the economy's crashing, but let's just buy an exchange that's in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And then they bailed out BlockFi, which is another big crypto centralized earn type of thing. And then now they're trying to buy out Celsius Network, which is another one that's in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So all these other crypto companies are going to bankruptcy. And meanwhile, Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX are trying to buy everybody up. Very interesting, fascinating. And he's also presenting how the industry should be managed from like a legal standpoint. You know, digital asset industry standards. I shall set the standards, says Sam Bankman-Fried. And some people just aren't having it. And this is really the reason why I'm bringing this to you. It's not because there is a side that I agree with more than the other when it comes to this issue. However, I'm not here to tell you what side to believe or whatever, but I am here to present the different sides that are forming as crypto becomes more and more mainstream and part of our economic system. It was supposed to be, I think, the people, whatever, are being dragged into this change because of the economic crisis that we are in, that came from COVID and printing and all the inflation and where we were already in a debt-based economy, so that was already out of control. We just added more debt to our debt in the U.S. and everything. So anyway, I have a clip here from BitBoy Crypto. I've cleaned it up. He did use a naughty word, so I cleaned it up so he doesn't use it in our clip here. But this was BitBoy Crypto live a couple days ago. If you don't know, he's one of the the biggest crypto guy in the US when it comes to YouTube. He's got like 1.5 million subscribers or something. Gets thousands and tens of hundreds of thousands of views. And recently he's been, he started making videos about like, oh, the Great Reset and Klaus and these guys are bad. And, stuff more alt crowds would be into, which is sort of the obvious. It's so obvious now, so it's not really surprising. But he was going in that direction, the anti-World Economic Forum, very much the kind of stuff we've been talking about for over a decade. And from that, he springboarded into trying to create a crypto bill. And so now, just the optics of this, we have Sam Bankman-Fried presenting a type of regulation in crypto. Then we have BitBoy Crypto having his own bill. And it's fascinating to watch because the core difference in the approach to regulation for crypto between Sam Bankman-Fried and BitBoy Crypto is very much the magnification of the current situation in the U.S. It's sort of the, you can call it right wing, left wing. You can call it conservative, liberal, the tensions therein, the right left paradigm, all that stuff. And it's just moving right into crypto. And so BitBoy Crypto had his Alex Jones moment here. He was triggered by a tweet by this guy named Ryan Sean Adams, claiming that BitBoy Crypto is not for the people, not representing the people. And BitBoy Crypto had this response.
You know what? We are tired of people that look like this guy trying to run stuff. I don't represent the people. I don't. I'm the one who does. It's me. I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto while these devils, Sam Bankman-Fried, Brian Armstrong, they're trying to permanently ruin it. This is not about money for me. I hope you guys understand this. I'm here fighting for you. This guy is out here trying to tell you that only the suits know what to do. Only the suits. Only the people who have all the money. They're the ones who can determine what happens. No, our bill is for the people. And you're going to find this out. We've got the funding for it, and it's coming out.
I like how excited but tame he gets at the end, because he's like, hey, that's why we got the bill. Oh, it's funded now. So I think in the next week or two, we're going to start hearing about BitBoy Crypto's proposed bill for crypto regulation. Yes, BitBoy Crypto versus Sam the Bankman Fried. You can't make this up. This is being staged as the evolution of economies in the world. On the back of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, we have Sam the Bankman. He's fried Bankman. He likes fast food. Promoting sanctions. Then we have BitBoy Crypto, the superhero crypto boy, pushing freedom, American freedom. This is pretty wild, folks. This is I gotta admit, I'm excited. I'm pumped to see what happens here. BitBoy Crypto, also a big supporter of XRP, who has been in a lawsuit with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, for I think going on like 2 or 3 years now. And the story is, I don't know. These are things I hear. They're rumors. They're whatever. Is that every bank, every American bank anyway, or every bank in the world is going to have to own XRP to do cross-border payments, and it'll just become the standard. And if you look at it practically, there's something to it. XRP was created by the company Ripple. They did sort of jump on that technology right away because it was obvious that it needed restructuring. And so they did it, but because the government didn't do it, they have to step in, play the legal route, stifle innovation, at least in the US, or access in the US. So it's a lot of it is very interesting. It tackles a whole bunch of different topics. So it's something to keep track of because, again, this is going to affect all of us as we move forward here. I know it's easy to kind of dismiss crypto as like, oh, it's that thing, it crashed and everyone hates it. That's the other thing. The markets are really down right now. We're in the depths of the bear market of crypto. It seems to have a cycle about every 4 years. And now is the perfect time to start introducing legislation and putting all the bureaucratic people or laws or rules, all that stuff in place. I know Biden signed something. I'm sure Biden, I really want somebody to ask Biden to explain Bitcoin. That would be the most fantastic. Or cryptocurrencies. Hey, Joe, explain cryptocurrencies, please. Somebody do it. Please, someone do it. I'll do it. I'll do it if I get a chance. If I see him on the street, that's the question. I'm going to pull out my phone so I can record it, and that's the question I will ask President Joe Biden. There's more here from the Sam Bankman-Fried issue that we talked about how FTX, which is Sam Bankman-Fried's exchange, crypto exchange and bank, they own the naming rights to an arena in Florida, I think where the Miami Heat play and stuff like that. So big time, a lot of money. And a lot of people have been asking the last several months, where's that money coming from? They have so much money. And as soon as they started getting scrutinized, examined with a little bit more of a the public anyway, examining FTX. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry, trying to make less noise. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So with FTX, as the public started to gain awareness about the shadiness of Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, people started pointing things out. And at the end of the last month, at the end of September, so close to a month ago, the FTX U.S. president stepped down. And it was amidst a lot of, criticism, I guess, when it comes to sort of the operations and the influence and the power that FTX is trying to grasp as industry leaders in crypto. But the other thing to keep in mind is that Sam Bankman-Fried was sort of the poster child in crypto with the mainstream media because he had promised to donate up to $1 billion to the Democratic Party for political support. But he pulled back on that a little bit, and The Atlantic was not happy about it. The Atlantic has this headline: Sam Bankman-Fried isn't putting his money where his mouth is. Oh, Sam Bankman-Fried, a 30-year-old co-founder of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, is a $15 billion enigma and one of the richest and most powerful men in crypto. SBF is already a political megadonor to the vein of Peter Thiel and George Soros. Oh, The Atlantic is like, oh, he's like Peter Thiel and George Soros. He's got the cash. He spent millions in support of Joe Biden's presidential campaign and was one of the biggest Democratic donors in the country in the lead up to this year's midterm elections. Among his PAC's expenditures was a whopping $10 million donation to a virtually unknown Oregon House candidate who lost his primary badly. Oh, no. That's the downfall, you know? You get the Sam Bankman-Fried money. You might be happy, but if you don't know how to read the room politically, it's just bad news. You think, oh, man, I got Sam Bankman-Fried to give me $10 million for this thing. But if the public is like, yeah, you took Sam Bankman-Fried's money, then no good, no bueno. In a podcast interview earlier this year, SBF suggested that he would be willing to spend up to $1 billion on political donations before 2024. And then he went quiet. The donation he so generously doled out during the primaries have slowed significantly as the general election nears. Also, we're in like a crypto bear, depths of a bear valley. So he doesn't have the same kind of money to throw around. That could be it too. SBF suggested that he would be willing to spend. Oh, I already read that. What am I doing? Okay. Last week, he reneged on the $1 billion figure in what one writer called a, quote, political rug pull. That's clever. Just a little lesson here for non-crypto people. A rug pull is when you get into a project and the founders just take all the money and run. It happens all the time. There is no law in place to prevent it. There are some, scams that have gotten caught up in legal battles and stuff, but very few. A lot of rug pulls are, they're the scams, especially in like NFTs and everything else. They're out there, and you just have to be very careful as a user of crypto to not get caught up in a scam or a rug pull. But that's what rug pulls are. So a political rug pull is, in the sense, Sam Bankman-Fried taking his money and running and not supporting the Democratic Party. It's not that we don't know what Bankman-Fried cares about. The son of 2 Stanford law professors, SBF is a devout follower of effective altruism, a philanthropic movement that tries to sort out the most rational ways to do good in the world. And he has oriented his political giving around preparing for the inevitable onslaught of future pandemics. Has he now? Yet, he has also donated to the National Republican Congressional Committee. Oh, how dare he do that, which is backing candidates who do not seem to share his concern about pandemics. He claims to care deeply about the science and the facts, but at the moment, when he could be using his considerable wealth to help stop the vaccine skeptical from coming into power, he has decided to hold off. The Atlantic is very upset that Sam Bankman-Fried, who promised $1 billion to the Democrats, is like, I don't know about that. How about a little in the way of the National Republican Congressional Committee? And that triggers the Atlantic. They don't like that at all. It's like, hey, that's our money. But then, nothing about SBF has ever made total sense. He's one of the richest men in the world, and he still drives a Toyota Corolla. Now, I found this also very elitist of the Atlantic to mention that, because that if that's true, the Sam Bankman-Fried still drives his regular Toyota Corolla, and he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire. That's the kind of stuff that's a hint of humanity. Sam Bankman-Fried. You don't bash on him because he's driving a Toyota Corolla and he's a billionaire. If I was a billionaire, I would probably drive a Toyota Corolla. The good cars, strong, lasting. In parentheses, he has said that his ambition to accumulate wealth is ultimately about his desire to give it all away. Yes, the whole Bill Gates thing and the effective altruism thing. And while he's known for his mop of a hairdo and his nerdy demeanor, he also communicates in a way that's unsettlingly casual for someone at the helm of a $32 billion firm. When I text him on Monday, Atlantic author flexing, when I texted him on Monday evening, asking if he'd be up to chat about the fact that he and his company are under investigation by Texas security regulators. That's right. He replied with an obliging yup. So yes, that was the other thing. Texas is investigating FTX, the securities regulators, to see if there was any hanky-panky with the purchase of Voyager, which, again, it's been weird, the reporting, because I don't have it all in front of me, but for those who have been tracking it, you know what I'm talking about. They had some kind of, the details aren't as important, but it was some kind of non-collateralized loan, and which means there was no asset backing the loan. And then obviously Voyager was collapsing, so that loan sort of disappeared. It got liquidated. And there was nothing backing it anyway. And then the Three Arrows Capital thing destroyed a bunch of companies, but somehow FTX just remained in operation. And then they were debating or there were public reports about buying FTX for very small amount. I think it was, I can't remember the number. It feels like it should have been 20 million or something, but it was way less. I think it was in the hundreds. I don't remember, but all this drama going back and forth. And then finally, Voyager was bought out by FTX. So they win, I guess, until further notice, because Texas is looking into it. But this article goes into the back and forth interview, and we're not going to go through that. But if you want to, the link is there in the show notes. And there's not a whole lot of interesting things here. It's what you'd expect from Sam Bankman-Fried. So yeah, just keep an eye on this guy. He's trying to make moves anyway when it comes to legislation and in opposition to BitBoy Crypto. Are you going to support him and his bill, his crypto bill? I guess we'll have to hear more about it, but he's excited because it's all funded. So here we go. We're starting the crypto rocket ship. It's going to affect all of our pocketbooks and wallets. And by the way, when I mean wallet, do I mean a digital wallet or do I mean a physical wallet? Probably both. And hopefully there's not a way to directly connect the two.